Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on this Ferrari 308 GTB, and most likely it's going to be a Resto-Mod because I'm not going to use those wheels, and I'm not going to do that crazy logo on the hood like you see there. It has Blackwall tires, but as you can see, they're all messed up. It's got a black base. Race Bait 308, made in Hong Kong. Let me zoom out here a little bit. Check this out. So the base wiggles. It's not very tight. So the windshield, it's messed up too. I'm gonna have to do some sanding and polishing. But first thing first, let's drill this baby apart and I'll be back. Alright guys, so you just saw that I could close it back up. I tested everything, and we now have to remove the axle from the base. So we got a few options here. We could either cut it, but I don't really want to cut it because who knows if in the future I want to restore and use original Blackwall wheels. I have them right here, so we're going to be trying to get a flat tip screwdriver in here, see if that works. If that doesn't work, we'll try something else. I'll be back. So the flat tip screwdriver, it's not really working. This one, if I keep going at it, I might be able to get it. But the one on the back, I guess the machine that crimped it down made a mess. So we're not gonna be able to get it. So this is when you have to resort to a cutting disc. So if you didn't know, as you're using your cutting disc, they worn out and they become very small. Here's a quick tip: don't throw them away, because in this case, you can see it fits perfect in here. So don't throw them away, because they're perfect for tight jobs like this. All right, let me try to open up that channel with the disc and I'll be back. So there it is, guys. So the way I do this is with the disc, I cut straight down until I get to the axle, right? Like you just saw. But once I get to the axle, you see I have two grooves here, right? I start cutting not right on top of the axle. I cut to the side and slowly start getting an opening, because if you cut straight, keep cutting straight on the axle, you're gonna cut the axle. You don't want that. So I start cutting to the side. Did the same thing over here. You see the other. And this way I should be able to pop in the new wheels, and I should not have to use any glue, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So now this thing is going to the paint stripper, and I'll be back. Check it out. Doesn't look that really bad. I'm gonna clean it up with the brass wire brush and the Dremel. But before we do that, I want to address the wheels that I'm gonna be using. If you saw one of my previous videos, you know I show these. So if you want to know more information about the wheels, take a look at that video. So originally I was planning on using, you know, straight axle there in the channel, like I mentioned before. But if I do that, I am not going to get an axle head on the edge, on the outside of the wheel here. And as you know, Ferraris tend to have a yellow center, and I want to paint this yellow. So I'm going to be using the tube here, the brass tubing. Everything I use in the video is in the video description. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the measurement, but it's there. So I basically cut it, as you can see here, and I cut an axle, and I just put it in like this, and then I'll use glue, right? And everything will stay in place, and from the outside it'll look all original. But since this is a thicker tubing, I have to enlarge the channel here, and that's gonna be the next step here. So at the beginning of the video, I used the disc to open up the channel one way. Now I have to go both ways and make sure everything's center. And once I do that and I have that everything center, I could put everything together. And you know, I'm not gonna glue it in place just yet, because you know we have to paint the chassis. But I just want to make sure that everything it's good to go before I paint the chassis. So I'm gonna be using my Dremel here to open up the channel, and I will be back. All right guys, check it out. Check it out. So the only thing I did was open up the channel to fit the new axle tubing. I still have to work something out better here in the back. I want to make sure that everything is lined. And once I paint the chassis, I can glue in the new axles. And I'm thinking about maybe put something here in the wheel well to hold the wheels in place facing down like this. That way I have a perfect clearance on both sides. Hopefully I don't have to chop off the little lumps here. I'm gonna try get away with it without cutting them down. So I'm gonna paint the chassis, and I'll be back. All right guys, check it out. That's pretty good spacing. So like you saw in the pictures, it's just electrical tape what I used here on the wheel wells. I use 4 layers in the front, 5 layers in the back, making sure that the back sits a little higher than the front. And like you see here, everything rolls freely. Now, like you saw in the picture, I always use the gel glue and baking soda. So when you do that, you basically have this here, right? And you could hold it like this and turn it, sprinkle in the baking soda, right? Now flip it back over, and the baking soda only hardens the outside of the gel glue, so the interior is still wet. So that gives you enough time to move left and right to make sure that everything is pretty much center. And using the tape like this, it pretty much guarantees that the tire is going to sit center within the wheel well here, like you see here. And I think it came out pretty damn good. So if you're about to like leave a comment like, oh, you should have tucked those wheels in, well, I did a video about 10 years ago. It's in the channel. Well, actually not 10 years, but a few years ago, on how to do that. Check it out. See? And then yes, they do roll. The reason I didn't tuck those wheels in is because the Ferrari doesn't have wheels like that. Ferraris don't have wheels tucked in. And I don't know if I didn't mention before how nice it is that this casting has same size wheels front and back. I have this other Ferrari over here, which also has same size wheels. Hint, Hot Wheels. How about making more cars with same size wheels? Don't they look a lot better? Look at this one. It's all wiggly axle. I was looking on some information about this one. You see here that this one doesn't have the color flags on top. Now there is a variation. I don't know which one. According to the page I saw, this is first, and within the first edition, there's another one with the three colors of the Italy flag on top. So I don't know if I should repaint this. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. So now, like you saw right here, I already painted the base black. This area right here should have the same color as the car. Now, Hot Wheels didn't do that for obvious reasons, because they're not going to spend the time of masking off the base here for a dollar model or mainline. But I'm going to do it. And now we go off to paint. So another tip. I usually don't buy glossy enamel paint. The reason why I don't buy glossy enamel paint is because if you paint something and then you want to clear coat it, 8 times out of 10, the clear coat is going to make a mess when you try to paint over glossy paint. So I always buy flat paint. Flat enamel paint will always give you a better result. I always do that. And if you're planning on installing tempos or decals or whatever, what I do is I paint one light coat of clear coat, install decals, tempos, whatever you want to call them, and then I finish off with 2 or 3 coats of glossy clear coat. So now I just got to take this apart and go for paint. See you in a bit, guys. This is what I'm going for right here. I own quite a few red Ferraris, but I don't think I own a gray one. So I'm going for this look right here. Notice the taillights and that black trim from back to front here. So let's go over to the desk and I'm gonna show you the car. You guys, check it out. Before we start, I'm gonna show you what paint I used. It's Krylon Dual Super Bond. This paint is kind of glossy, and I don't really like painting kind of glossy or buying glossy paint. That's gonna be like another tip here. Based on my experience, never buy glossy paint, especially for painting Hot Wheels or Matchbox. Try to buy flat paint, because once you paint with flat paint, you can clear coat it no problem. If you use glossy paint, you kind of have to paint with the clear coat while the paint is still tacky. If you wait a day or two, chances are that the paint is going to lift. So my suggestion is buy flat paint, and then if you could wait 1, 2, 3, whatever, how many days you want, and then you could clear coat. For this car, I did a black primer, flat black paint. I don't want to call it a primer because it's not a primer. Flat black. You can use that also as a primer. And I bake my cars, which is something I also want to touch on when painting with enamel. Enamel does not hold up to heat like the Spectraflame paint from the Redline shop. So if you leave it in too much, the paint will boil and the car will get damaged. So I paint flat black, put it in the oven 170 degrees, which is the lowest setting my oven would go. And I just count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, up to like 10. And that should be it. Take the car out. The car is dry, which is another benefit of flat paints. They dry up really quick. Now, once that's dry and the car is still hot, remember, heat is very important, especially if you're painting while it's cold outside. This is why I never show how I paint, because it's basically I'm running left and right. It all has to be done real quick. I then shoot maybe 1 light coat of this gray paint, because I remember it's glossy, so glossy paint tends to be really runny. So light coat, put it in the oven. Now I count maybe 5 Mississippi. Take it out, do another coat, put it back in the oven for 5 Mississippi, then another coat just to make sure that I cover all the areas underneath, all the little hidden spots. And then I put it in the oven for 10 Mississippis. And then automatically, once I take it out, I have the clear coat ready. And I do 1 light coat, put it in the oven again for 5 Mississippi, take it back out, do another light coat, put it back in the oven for 5 Mississippi. Remember, light coats, because glossy paint takes a long time to dry. And that was only just to have a smooth surface for this water slide here, which I had left over from my last Matchbox red Ferrari that I did. So it's not the right one that goes there, but I already had it done, and it is what it is. At that time, while holding the car with the locking scissors, I did the black stripe here and here. Luckily, this car doesn't have many more detail. Oh, here I painted this black, this and this here, and this here. And then I went back and I did another light coat, because this is the tricky part with painting with enamel. You gotta clear coats, they're kind of, you know, crazy. So light coat just to get it tacky, and then a heavy coat back in the oven, no max than 8 Mississippis. You know what I'm saying? Then I turn off the oven, leave the door open, wait for 2 minutes while most of the heat is out, and then I put the car back in with the door open, so that remaining heat keeps curing at least the outer coat. I then set it to the side. Like right now it's only been 10 hours. I could touch it, but if I press hard on it, I'm gonna mess it up. So enamel paint, you're better off leaving it, to cure for at least 3 days. But for the purpose of this video, if you're gentle with it, I mean, you shouldn't have a problem. So here is the details on the back. Check out those turn signals with the reverse light, and I did the yellow on the center of the wheels. It's supposed to have side markers here in the front, but I want to leave that to the end to do them while this is installed inside the car. And look what I could do. I think I did a pretty good job here with the windshield. It was messed up. Came out pretty dang good. It has a deep scratch here which I couldn't remove, but other than that, came out awesome. I didn't do anything to the interiors. We'll leave them as is. So now I'm gonna put this back together and I'll be back. Alright guys, here it is. Just put it back together. Check out the details in the front. I did the turn signals. The casting doesn't have, or the chassis doesn't have the markings for it, so I just eyeballed it. I think it came out pretty damn good considering the condition that we started with. Let me see if I could put a small clip here somewhere showing the before, so you could compare. But overall, I think we did a very good job. So again, thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, share this video with your friends, and like always, I'm gonna leave some links here to my other videos. And thank you for watching again. Peace out. Hope you liked it.